Hey guys, so it is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Aaron and I are headed out to my side of the family tomorrow to celebrate Thanksgiving. And I was texting my sister Abby. She mentioned that her husband Josiah commented on remembering how good the French silk pie was that I made back in the day, and hinted to me bringing that for the celebration. And it has been years, honestly years, since I have made it, and thought, yeah, that would be kind of fun to make it again. I know for sure that it is my grandma's recipe, and I will have to ask my mom for sure whether it goes farther back than just grandma, which I'm sure it does, for a family tradition as far as passing it down through the years. So I think it's fun. I am really thinking of grandma today as I make it, knowing that the original recipe that my mom has in her recipe box is in grandma's handwriting. So that is really fun to think of. Thought it would be great to just bring you guys along and share with you the recipe and how I make it and carry on that tradition. So I will do my best to just share the process with you guys and show you what a, well, original Vermeer probably French silk pie is like. So getting started, these are the ingredients I'm going to be using for the pie. To start off, you're going to want a 9-inch pie plate. I think this one actually says it's 9.5 inches, which will be fine. Semi-sweet baker's chocolate, unsweetened baker's chocolate, eggs, graham crackers. The whipping cream is for the top, so I actually won't be putting that on until tomorrow after getting there. And butter, vanilla, and sugar. So for the first step that I am going to get started on is the crust, which is just graham crackers and then melted butter to hold it all together. And then I just press that with a fork into the pie plate. And I honestly do not know how many graham crackers that I use, so I will keep track of that for a 9-inch now. And then I'm thinking I'd probably use a half a stick to a stick of butter, melted, possibly more, to hold all the graham crackers together for the crust. I think what I'm gonna do is just do 2 packages, and then if there's too much, I'll just take some out at the end, because the Vitamix does better for me if it is full. So to try to do some after the fact is not going to work as well. I'm just kind of pushing this out to measure if that's going to be enough. So if you wanted to, I'm sure you could do 1.5 packages of the graham crackers. I went ahead with the 2 packages. If I have too much in there, I will just go ahead and take some out and throw it away, eat it, and go from there. Okay, so while the butter is melting for the crust, I am going to take 2¼ sticks of butter that is softened and mix it with a cup of sugar. Okay, so it's literally 2¼ stick, so 2 sticks and 2 tablespoons. Okay, that's what I'll do. Thank you. Alright, love you. Bye. Okay, so I was questioning whether it was 2½ sticks, like 1/4 cup, or literally 2 sticks and 2 tablespoons. and it's 2 sticks and 2 tablespoons. So I will let my butter sit there. I'm gonna finish mixing this together. So we need a cup of sugar. And then you just beat it or mix it really well. So then the next step is going to be taking the butter and pouring it into the crust. And then you just mix it together. And this is the hardest step for me not to eat, because it is so good. Okay, so this just isn't quite sticky enough for my liking. It's like it will press out, but I like it just a little bit stickier to make sure that it holds together. So I'm over here melting a half stick more of butter, and I'll add it to the crust. I am going to take a few out just because it is pretty thick in some places. I want to taste the graham crackers, but don't want it too thick. Okay, so the next step is going to be adding 1.5 ounces of the semi-sweet and 1.5 ounces of the unsweetened, as well as the poor little tablespoon of butter that is standing on its own, and melt it in a pan on low. And I actually stand there and watch guard over it, making sure it doesn't burn. And then as soon as that is all melted together, you add 2 1/4 teaspoons of vanilla, mix it together, and put it in with the butter and the sugar, mixing it all together. Then add the eggs. So while the chocolate continues to melt, I'm going to go ahead and crack some of the eggs into a glass just to make sure that they're okay, because they are farm fresh eggs. And you always need to check farm fresh eggs before putting them in whatever you are making. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The chocolate is coming along quite nicely. Just a couple little lumpy lumps left, and it'll be good to go in the butter and sugar. Okay, so the chocolate is melted very nicely. So I measured out 2 1/4 teaspoons of vanilla. We'll go ahead and dump that in and just mix it up. And one thing I forgot to mention is, as soon as you put the vanilla in, or right before you put the vanilla in, go ahead and pull it off of the stove so that it doesn't keep like melting or cooking, because it can burn very easily. So right before you put the vanilla in, go ahead, pull it off the stove, off the heat, add the vanilla, and then add it to your butter and sugar. So the next step is get a timer. So I'm going to use my cell phone. And you add an egg at a time, beating each egg for 3 minutes. It calls for 4 to 5 eggs. I always start with the lesser amount, and just depending on whether you like it a little thicker or if you want it really smooth and almost creamy texture, a lot of times I will add that extra egg. So I will just check it after I'm done with the 4th egg and decide whether I want to add that 5th egg or not. Okay, so this is what it looks like after 4 eggs. I personally think it could be done right now, but there are just a couple sugar granules that are still like tasteable when I took a little taste of it to see how it was. So I am gonna go ahead and put that 5th egg in just to really try and get it smooth, just a little bit airier. And then once it cools, it will still stiffen up a little bit. But it's totally up to you according to how you want the texture to be, whether you would add that last egg or not. Okay, so I am really glad that I put that last egg in there. It really made it a lot silkier and just really finished it out very nicely. So the last step that we are going to do for today is just go ahead and put it in the pie plate that has the crust. So I will just smooth it out a little bit, but this is gonna chill overnight. And then since we have a drive anyways, I will not put the whipping cream on top until tomorrow after we arrive, just so that if this gets messed up at all in the drive over, that whipping cream is going to cover anything up and make it just look finished and beautiful once again. So I will wait to do that final step of the whipping cream. Okay, so here is the finished pie for today. We'll put it in the fridge to chill. I would probably say if you're eating it the same day, I would still let it chill maybe even 4 to 6 hours. This will be chilling overnight, and then I will be adding the whipped cream tomorrow once I arrive at the family's. And just in case you guys want to try your hand at making a French silk pie, I'll go ahead and put the recipe in the description down below. So I hope you have enjoyed this video of just one of those family traditions that has been passed down through the years in our family. And may all of you have a happy Thanksgiving.